Good evening, guys, man. It's Saturday evening. Feeling good outside. I got the dogs outside. Just like the topic of the video, do I believe in strange phenomena, Bigfoot, humanoid type stuff? Have I ever heard stories of such during police work? Yeah, I've heard one story that was shared through the network, and I'll tell you about it in a little bit. So I ask you to have an open mind when I tell you these stories. I'm not saying that I believe it or discount it, but I do believe, on Diamond, that it deserves a little bit of looking into. I think there are things out there that we don't know that's out there that aren't discovered or have a way of hiding from us. You know, I believe there's something's going on, and you have a lot of people seeing these things. So, but I've never experienced anything, but you know, I've heard stories. The first one was when I was little, about 11 or 12. Me, my brothers and sister went to school in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So at that time, school was out for summer, and my daddy's buddy Johnny had a place at the beach. So we were at the beach. He had a trailer there. So we had did our swimming for the day and our fishing or whatever. So all us kids were laying down in the living room. We had each made us a place, you know. And everybody else was asleep. I was still awake, but I was laying there because, you know, I was so hyped up and hot and just trying to wind down. And Dad and Johnny were sitting at the table playing cards. Now, both of them worked in Fayetteville. My dad worked with North Carolina Natural Gas, and his job was he would install gas lines, repair gas heaters, and fix AC units, that sort of thing. He would install lines in the subdivisions and all of that. Johnny worked with the state, operating heavy equipment. His thing was motor graders and bulldozers and stuff like that. Back then, at that time, he would maintain the rural roads, the country roads out in the country areas. Most of them were dirt roads, and he would grade those roads so it would be passable with a vehicle, you know. A lot of them didn't have asphalt back then. Okay, and there's an area, a subdivision of Fayetteville called Cedar Creek. And it's a metropolis now, if you see it now, motels and stores and restaurants. Back then, it was still country. And they were like 2 or 3 trailer parks set up in that area. And you had Pope Air Force Base and Fort Bragg. Soldiers would rent these mobile homes so they'd be close to the base, you know. Well, Dad had to go out there 2 or 3 times, and I heard him sitting at the table talking. This is what got me on about the subject of a Bigfoot or wild man. Down in the South, down here, we call them boogers. It's always been, you know, old wives' tale, and you hear it all the time, and you never knew what to believe, you know. But he was talking with Dad, and Johnny looked at Daddy and said, you know, said, man, there's like 3 people down there swearing down. There's some kind of Bigfoot thing down there, man, just terrorizing, scaring the heck out of them people, you know. And Dad said, yeah, when we went to replace the gas line, said the line looked like it was pulled up from the ground, and said they found footprints, looked like human footprints, big size, all the way around them trailers. And it said that the people swore up and down that this creature was tearing the underpinning out and was reaching under, pulling the insulation out, and we snatched these gas lines. Now keep in mind, along the side of these mobile homes was the main gas line that was 3 foot, 4 foot down. Quit, Piper, darn, I'm a dad dog, I can't help. And Dad said whatever this thing was, people or whoever, pulled that line up from 4 feet down, up from the ground, and tore it all apart. And these are pipes, gas pipes. Now, what led to the mobile home was copper tubing. Dad said it looked like somebody grabbed it and just snatched it apart, like bam. He said it wasn't cut, it wasn't bent. Said it was pulled apart. He said because you could see it stretching, and he would have to go there all the time and keep repairing these lines. 3 times he did that. And Johnny had to go to the area because how you get to the mobile home park was by a dirt road. And somebody or something put a big tree across the damn road, and Johnny had to go in there with the bulldozer and move the tree. But they found big human-sized footprints, and there were 3 people at that time. This was back like in the 70s. You know, didn't have cell phones or nothing back then. And you never heard anything about Bigfoot except for the Patterson Gimlin footage that was in California. You know, but like I say, old folks tell us here in Carolina, we always call them boogers. And it's the same thing as Bigfoot. But they were finding footprints all around the mobile homes where this stuff had been pulled out from, and these were fairly new mobile homes, but whatever the creature was pulling the insulation out from under and popping gas lines from it and trying to snatch the power lines and grab the meter box and throwed it down and all that sort of thing. And I could hear Daddy and Johnny at the table talking about it. Said, man, you really believe in such a thing? And Johnny said, well, there's 2 or 3 people swear up and down. There's something down there tearing up and terrorizing them people. And the news were down there. They made a story about it. And, you know, has the Boggy Creek monster come up to Carolina and terrorize people. But this is an area close to the Cape Fear River. Like I say, it was country back at that time. And I was little then, so it didn't dawn on me. I'm fixing to hit you, Diamond. It didn't dawn on me till I got a whole lot older, because I started seeing a lot of stuff on social media and on TV about the subject of Bigfoot and the show Finding Bigfoot and the History Channel, you know, unknown things, and you know, and to have an open mind when I tell you these stories. I'm not saying I believe it or discount it, but I believe that there's something, things need to be checked out. It was hard for me to foresee how something like that could live around the Fayetteville area, but you know, it's close to Fort Bragg, and we got a lot of forest out there. We got a lot of country out there. At that time, it was country, but nothing was ever found about it, and the stuff quit happening, and everybody went on with life. But there were 3 people swore them down. Hey man, this Bigfoot-looking thing that's tearing the underpinning out from under these trailers and reaching up under there and pulling the insulation out. This dog is aggravating. She's a mess. Now the other story, us law enforcement, a lot of times we can go to conferences, 2 or 3 day training conferences, and I went to one that was in Pine Knoll Shores, and it's where agents get together and discuss different crimes, different ways to enforce the law, changes that legislation has taken place, just a way of networking, any odd stories people have come across, weird investigations. What do you know, what's the weirdest thing you ever come across? You know, we share our stories. And there was one guy happened to be a wildlife agent, a game warden, if you will. He was with the Wildlife Service. And the story that he told, everybody was laughing and giggling because they didn't know what to believe. But like I say, have an open mind. The story that he was told was an elderly man in the area of what we call, everybody in Carolina, from my area, we call it Green Swamp. And it's an area that runs between the town of Supply in North Carolina and Charlotte in North Carolina. And it's a roadway that runs 20 miles straight, and it's nothing but forest, wildlife, nothing but woods, nothing but forest. There's nothing out there. And about midways, there's a gentleman out there that has a cow farm. He raises a lot of cattle out there. And he just happened to have a fish pond or irrigation pond in the cow pasture. So, and a lot of times his grandson would go spend a few days and nights with him, and he would fish the pond. And, you know, the granddad said, okay, you can fish the pond, just make sure that the bull's locked up. You know, he had a mean bull out there, and he always wanted to make sure before they fished to lock that bull up. But anyway, the grandson was fishing at the pond, and he got to looking and seen that the bull was loose. So he goes to run into the house, and the bull starts to charge him. Grandpa is pulling up in the truck. Now, this is reported by the wildlife agent. This is what the elderly man told the actual wildlife agent. Said the bull was charging at the boy, and Granddaddy was in a hurry trying to get up there with the truck, but he wasn't fast enough. He was going to try to head the bull off with the truck, but he just won't get in there. And the old man said all of a sudden, he said, this Bigfoot looking thing came out of the wood line, running on all fours. He said it run like a gazelle. He said it was big, the biggest thing he ever saw, and it was moving fast. He said it got to that bull, and to keep in mind now, that bull's 1,200 pounds. Now listen to me, keep it open mind. He said this Sasquatch thing, said it was a female because it had boobs. Said it grabbed that bull buddy and slammed that bull down like it was a sack of potatoes. Said it was stomping him all in the head and punching him and all that. And when the bull was out, he said this thing stood up and made a grunt and walked back to the wood line just casual. And footprints everywhere, big footprints. So the man, and see, this is back in the time, we didn't have cell phones back then. Cell phones hadn't been invented yet, you know. They didn't have cameras and all that. So the boy and the old man, they was like, what was that? What was that? And the old man said it looked kind of like a gorilla, but it had like human features. So he called the game warden. The game warden come out there and said, sir, what in the world happened to that bull? What happened? He said, Bigfoot done this. And he said, oh man, what are you talking about? He said, my grandson was fishing at the pond, and we didn't know the bull was loose. The bull started charging the boys. Bigfoot come out the woods and tackled this bull and killed the hell out of this bull. Now they did a test on the bull. His neck was broken 2 places, and its ribs were crushed, and its insides were crushed, all of that. Now keep an open mind now. Now really think about it. That bull weighed 1,200 pounds. What in the heck? And the reason he called the game warden, he wanted the game warden to see it with his own eyes. He said, sir, you see this cow? He said, yeah, what the hell done it? He asked, he said it was Bigfoot. So they had people out there taking casts of footprints that were real huge, that went from where the bull was all the way to the swamp wood line. And green, that's why they call it green swamp. It's swampy forestry everywhere. So they had all kind of people out there, scientists going out there, and the man didn't want all these people on his property. The old man, he didn't want to be famous for nothing. He didn't want to, you know, he didn't want the notoriety or the publicity or the attention or anything like that. He just wanted a witness to see what happened to his bull. Now the officer at the conference had pictures of the bull, had pictures of footprints, and these were huge human-like footprints that looked like the big footprints you see on TV and stuff like that. And there was researchers out there and hunters out there taking pictures, and people running dogs to try to see if they could find something. And the little boy was shook up, and the old man was shook up. But the officer had the actual incident report. He showed everybody. Strange, I can't remember how he wrote that up. Said, strange situation, bull killed by unknown type creature. Now to me, now think about this. Really think, what in the heck out there can handle a 1,200 pound bull? I don't even believe a grizzly. A grizzly could hold the bull off. I mean, he might kill it eventually. But grizzly don't have opposing thumbs and opposing fingers to grab him by the horns and pick him up and slam him down. That's not happening. Could a gorilla do that? A silverback gorilla? Could a gorilla handle a 1,200-pound bull? And we talking about a big Brahma bull with the horns way out there like that? That's what the old man said. Now, I'm just telling you the story. I hadn't experienced nothing like that, but we share odd stories about the UFOs and the military doing maneuvers in the area and people calling in saying it was UFOs, and then we find out it's, the military. But this is a true, legit Sasquatch, Bigfoot story that happened here in North Carolina in Brunswick County. Why they kept it up under the rug all this time, but here lately I've been hearing some versions of this story on YouTube. Very vague, but I heard it from this officer, this wildlife officer. It came from him. He said this is what the old man and the little boy said. Said Bigfoot 8-man or whatever came running out, and the only thing that they could figure, well, if it was female, maybe it was acting in a motherly fashion, because from talking with Bigfoot research people and people that specialize in that sort of thing, to say that Sasquatch and Bigfoot love to watch children. They're entertained by human children. They love to watch them laugh and run and play and stuff, and they just watch. So they said this thing might have acted like in a motherly, like a mother figure, and darted out there to save the child. He or she knew the child was in danger, and went out there and tackled the darn thing. Hey, I'm just telling you a story. Let me know what you think, man. If you like to see what you see and hear, man, hit like and subscribe. Hey, try to live each day as a better day, man. Take care of your animals, because they take care of you. Hey, bo, y'all have a good one, man. Let me know what y'all think. Crazy stories.